Cigar Company is your one-stop shop for all your cigar needs. Whether that's a brand new humidor, a box of those new cigars you've been waiting for, a top-of-the-line cutter or lighter, a place to enjoy the finest cigars and spirits with friends, or the only cigars grown right here in the Sunshine State, we've got you covered. Come visit one of our retail locations for the ultimate cigar experience. Visit us online at coronacigar.com.
How about that cigar?
Well, how about that cigar?
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Corona Cigar Studios for episode 285 of How About That Cigar Live. Thank you so much for joining us live here in the great state of Minnesota, and for watching live on Facebook, live on YouTube, and live on
Rumble.
And of course, if you're listening after the fact on the audio podcast, thanks so much for making How About That Cigar a part of your regular audio podcast rotation. And be sure to click on all the big, beautiful buttons, the like button, the follow button, the subscribe button. That way you won't miss anything we have going on with How About That Cigar. And welcome back to the studio, Raul Ramos.
Thanks for having me.
Grateful to have you back, brother. Let's without further ado, let's bring on our fantastic, incredible, illustrious producer, Justy Smokes.
Hello. Smokes. How's it going?
Brother, it is, well, it's we're on that roller coaster spring that we have in Minnesota where it's 70 one day and 30 the next day. And and then
the 20s, and then it's back up. And it's supposed to be only one more day of that, though. I think it's supposed to be in the 60s by the end of the week, in 70s.
Yeah, but aren't we supposed to get some shit coming up from the south?
Yeah.
So we're gonna
get some rain.
We're gonna get screwed.
Some rain.
It's all right, though. It's all right. It's we've put up with it for this many years. We can just
put it up for another 2 at least.
Yeah.
Welcome, Christopher Weiss. Welcome. First time seeing or hearing you guys.
Oh, fantastic. Live. Fantastic. Great to have you with us. And of course, if you guys are watching live on Facebook, YouTube, or Rumble, join us in the comments. Let us know what you're smoking. Let us know what you're drinking. We have a great special guest coming on in just a couple minutes. And if you have questions for our guest, please put those in the comments as well.
Let's talk about sports. Something happened in hockey yesterday.
Was that yesterday or
Ovechkin?
2 days ago? Ovechkin, yeah.
Broke the great one's record.
Broke the record for most goals scored by a player in NHL history. I honestly didn't think that record was ever going to fall until like the last 2 seasons. I was like, Ovi might get there. And he did. I mean, he looks grizzled. Ovi, if you see Ovi, it's like, dude, you should be coaching. You should be coaching hockey by this age. He's
been in the league for 20 years.
He's been in the league a long time. Yeah. But he got the record. Was it exact same number of games that it took Gretzky to get the record?
I don't remember that one.
I think it was the exact same number of games, or he tied it at the exact same, or 1 game less or something. I don't remember. But Gretzky still looked relatively young when he quit playing.
And he's still the great one. He's got what? 4 championships, 5 championships.
Yeah. Gretzky's still the great one, but the great one. That's one of the. It's cool sometimes to see.
He did look older than Gretzky.
Yeah, some of those records you think would never fall, and this one finally did. Otherwise, hockey-wise, for Minnesota, the Wild are just blah. And I'm so tired. I keep seeing all these news reports. Oh, we might see Kaprizov and Eriksson back. So-and-so dates and all. I'm tired of it.
Pumping us up.
I'm
trying to keep the viewers coming back.
Basically, I'll believe it when I see it because they just keep teasing us like, oh, they're going to come back soon. They're going to come back. They've been saying that for months, and I'm not.
Years, Matt. Years.
Well, that also. The Timberwolves are actually doing pretty well. They've won, I want to say 16 or 17 out of their last 20 games. They're still kind of midway in the standings, so we need some help from some other teams to maybe lose a couple games so we get a favorable playoff seed. The NCAA men's basketball championship is happening as we speak.
Go back a little bit.
Oh, yeah, go back.
I watched the T-Wolves play the Brooklyn Nets in New York the other day, and I was the only one cheering for me and my brother-in-law.
Cheering for the Nets?
Cheering for the Wolves.
Oh, for the Wolves?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. The NCAA men's basketball championship is taking place as we speak.
Go Houston.
Yeah, Florida Gators versus the Houstons. No, it's what is their
Houston.
Oh, it's the Cougars. It's the Houston Cougars.
That sounds better.
So
I like the Houstons. That's pretty good.
The Houstons, yeah. I honestly don't have a dog in the fight. I couldn't care less.
Yeah.
I want Houston. I don't think he's ever won it.
I don't think so. I mean, I've never honestly, I don't know if I've ever really heard of them being a factor in men's basketball.
No, they're the Houstons.
The Houston, heard of them. Yeah. Nobody's Houston. We have a problem. And then the Twins are super mediocre. They started horrible. The Yankees, on the other hand,
somebody's wearing Yankees here. I mean, I know what's going on, right?
Your Yankees are hot right now.
Well, they got those illegal bats that all the other teams can use, but yeah.
Well, there's some members of the Twins using them. There's some members of a lot of other teams using them. They're just
not hitting it like the Yankees.
Yeah, the Yankees are playing really well.
It's early. It's a long season.
Didn't they start? I think they started.
This is the most reserved I've heard about the Yankees in a while here.
It is a long season.
I've met some bets with some of my cousins when I was in New York.
Yeah.
And my uncle.
It's a long season.
It's a long season. Boston's got a solid team this year.
I don't know.
The Mets are looking good.
Hey, Coop's calling you up, bro.
Can we? He has an HBTC cap and shirt.
I have a lot of HBTC.
And it's okay to rock his Yankees gear. It's okay.
Yeah.
I just didn't feel like really wearing. How about that cigar shirt tonight? I just want to go with the Yankees.
Well,
just don't be upset because you're a stinking Phillies fan.
Here's something we could do.
What's that?
If Coop and Raul are willing to maybe do a little side wager on an upcoming 3-game series between the Phils and the Yanks, whoever comes out on top of that 3-game series, the other person wears a hat of the opposing team. The loser wears the opposing team's hat on their show.
I like that.
What do you? I'm just throwing it out there. You guys decide if you want to make that side bet.
I see what you do there, man.
Fuck a hat. I've had it tattooed on my. Never mind.
Don't write checks you don't want to cash.
Yeah.
I'm all for that if Coop is this.
Okay. Well, we'll think about maybe putting something like that together. But
we should get our guest on.
I absolutely want to get our guest on.
Brews and.
But before we get our guest on, let's talk about this evening's.
Oh yeah, I forget.
Who's that brought to us by?
Spirit of Mystery brought to us by Postania Cigars. Do you find yourself unsatisfied with the top 10 list from How About That Cigar? Are you wondering how cigars from Postania didn't make the HBTC list but found their way onto other lists? Well, fortunately, you could be reminded every week with this Postania Cigars advertisement. Postania Cigars, the #1 unranked cigar in the industry, even though they were #2 on our list last year. I'm just going to keep.
I am really looking forward to some of the stuff they're coming out with.
Yeah,
they got a lot of stuff.
They got a lot of stuff coming out. All right, so
let's see the camera shot of that.
We have a rye in the.
It's a rye
in the glass. I can cover my face.
There we go. Oh,
it's a rye.
Okay,
and smells wonderful. Got a lot of sweetness on the Famunda. No, all right, here we go. Okay, that's interesting that it's a rye. Okay, I get a little of that spice on the background now. At first, I didn't get it at all. It was all sweetness, and it's really like very, very sweet. Like I don't think it has any like artificial maybe sweeteners in it. I don't think so, but it's got a lot of sweetness on the palate with this. It doesn't taste super high proof, I don't think.
Tastes like anything you've had before?
I'd say you guys are messing with me, so I'm not gonna I don't know. I'm just gonna say I think it's okay so far.
Okay.
Well, we'll let you sit on that, and
so we'll reveal what this is later in the show.
And by the way, William Cooper says under consideration. So just
okay, all right.
Some of us trust our teams and some of us don't. Right there.
We'll continue talking to Coop about that in the coming weeks.
All right.
But let's get our special guest on the show. And as always,
who are they brought to us by?
Special guests are brought to us by Drew Estate. And the new Freestyle Live event pack features a unique Dominican forward expression, marking a new chapter for Drew Estate by introducing a silky, smooth blend that places Dominican tobaccos squarely in the spotlight. This Dominican forward blend brings together Drew Estate's signature premium sweet cap and the highest grade Connecticut shade wrapper leaf. With an MSRP of $40, the new FSL pack contains 4 unbranded mystery cigars, along with an FSL torch lighter, an exclusive FSL dog tag necklace, and a custom 10-count travel humidor. For more information, please visit drewestate.com. All right, ladies and gentlemen, if you would please put your hands together and help us welcome to episode 285 of How About That Cigar Live from Bentley Tobacco, Jonathan Carney. Brother, welcome back to How About That Cigar Live.
The pleasure is mine, gentlemen. Let me fix a couple things real quick. Basketball fan here. University of Houston was huge in the 80s. That's where Hakeem Olajuwon and Clyde Drexler played. And if you ever heard that term they were called Phi Slamma Jamma.
Yeah.
They were excellent. They went to like 3 or 4 Final Fours, 2 national championship games. They did lose, which is shocking. You figure a team that had Clyde Drexler and Hakeem Olajuwon losing. But they did have some relevance. But it does seem kind of weird the last few years they came out of nowhere, especially this year, and certainly with the beating of Duke the other night was interesting. So the game right now it's pretty good. It's 28-31, right before the end of the half. So good game. But anyway,
thanks.
Glad to be on,
brother. Always a pleasure talking to you. And it's man, it's been a busy year for you. But before we get into a lot of the nitty gritty of things, let us know what you're smoking.
So I'm smoking. So I'm smoking my favorite size of our Bentley line, the Bentley Green Corona. So this is the one with the 3-year aged Habano Rosado wrapper. So I'm smoking the Corona. That's my favorite size. I smoke a ton of them. It's between this and the Toro right now. I still jump around, but with the last few months have been crazy. So my smoking times are unpredictable. They're either long or short. So I've been going with the Coronas, and it's become my favorite. And coincidentally, this was the first size that I ever smoked when I first smoked Bentley, and that was May of 2024. When I was in Paris, I happened to just go into a cigar shop, and they had Bentley there, and I didn't even know what it was. I was like, I looked at it, I said, Bentley, that's kind of cool. So I grabbed it. That was the first time I had it. So this was the first size that I smoked. And then this is the one that I've been most drawn to. And then drinking, I got 2 things that I'm drinking. Well, first of all, I'm drinking water, but I also got,
you got to hydrate.
Yeah. I got Hoot & Young 12-year.
Nice.
And then I got the Hoot & Young Jack Carr 16-year Warrior Proof, which is 125
listen
proof.
A little bit. There we go.
Oh, hello.
I need that bottle. I need that bottle in my collection for reals.
I'll have to pull some strings. We'll see what we can do.
Yeah, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. Yeah. I'm smoking the same, the Bentley Green, right now. And you guys,
I am smoking the Connecticut,
the Bentley White,
and I am also smoking the Bentley Green, which can't show up on the green screen right there, but you get it.
It all blends in.
Yes,
it all blends in. So yeah, like I said, it's It's been a busy year for you, brother. And, you went from, being with another cigar company for a long time. And then this announcement that came out about, attaching your name with Bentley Tobacco. So kind of give us the tourist version of the whirlwind you've been on for the last 6 months.
There's a lot of it's almost 8 months now. There's a lot that's been going on, man. It's really been a wild 16 months. And I left LFD in July of 2024, and really when I left, I wasn't quite sure what was going to be next. I made an announcement that started my own company, which I had several companies that I was planning on starting, but they were all immediate startups. One of them was a hobby that I did with my dad for fun, which was the Shoulders of Giants, the leadership newsletter that I do, and we still do that. But that really was just kind of a hobby until I figured out what was next. And I knew I wasn't going to be leaving the cigar business entirely, but I did know that whatever I was doing next needed to be for myself, and I needed to make the best decision that I could for my entrepreneurial spirit. And the role I was in was for 14 years. So that's quite a bit of time in the premium cigar industry. It's longer than some brands that have great reputations in this industry had been around. And really became a face of what I was doing there. So we in July, I'd say late July, Martin Schuster, who's fourth generation cigar maker of the Schuster family in Germany and owner of the Bentley brand, overall the brand itself. He and I started talking, and he and I connected, and the first thing that came out of my mouth, and same that comes out of everybody's mouth, it was the first thing that popped up on social media in August 30th when we announced this was, that's going to be a trademark violation. That's going to be a trademark issue with Bentley. So I said to him, I was like, how the hell did you guys get this trademark? And is it related to the car? And he's like, no, it's not. He goes, it's the brand Bentley. And he goes, it's Bentley brand tobacco products. And I was like, interesting. And the trademark's from 1968. And we can get a little more into that. It's a longer story. So I thought, okay, that's great. And I was like, well, I've smoked these before, Martin. He goes, where? And I said, Paris. And, he named the shop. And I said, where are they made from? I quite enjoyed it. I go, it's a little different than what I normally smoke because I ran a very full-bodied cigar company for 14 years. And then a lot of the Nicaraguan cigars that I smoke are very full-bodied, front palate spice. And these tend to be a little more down the middle. And he goes, it's Toyota Nicaragua. So I was like, all right, perfect. It's the oldest Nicaraguan cigar factory. I was like, so, okay, got a ironclad trademark and great brand name and brand recognition. One of the best factories in the world. I was like, okay, what do you want to do? So we talked for about 3 more weeks, and then we decided at the early August that at the end of the month we were going to make an announcement that we were working together. At that time, there was no formal agreement in regards to my involvement with it outside of really kind of just selling it and seeing where it went. And in the meantime, to be honest, when launching it, I was transitioning away from having a very solid career for 14 years to doing, being a startup, really, whether it was going to be a brokerage or what the next steps were with me or my own brands. And so I didn't have any friggin' money. So it was a matter of waiting to see, where the reputation took me, what my efforts over the last 14, 15 years took me. So we had quite a bit of success in the first several months as we ended the year. And then in November, we got together and spent about a week and a half together here in Florida, and said, we talked about where we saw the company going, what my vision was for it, what his vision was, and we really aligned. Where we saw that this was something that could grow over the next 10, 15, 20 years, and it wasn't just something we were going to build and grow and sell, because we do understand the value of a brand such as this. And recognition. And, we just really aligned. He said, all right, let's, if you want to do this, let's do it. He goes, you're going to run the show. You're going to be an owner. We're going to incorporate here in the United States. So we started Bentley Tobacco USA, which has a exclusive licensing agreement with Bentley Tobacco out of Germany. And the rest is history. So we incorporated that in December and January. And really, as we were going down the road, You'll see all sorts of car references. None of them are intentional, I promise. So as we're going down the road, it was the beginning of the year, and the unique nature of the trade show being at the.
I think that's a little tongue in cheek, right?
Oh, absolutely. But the unique nature of the trade show being at the beginning of the year in April is if you're a new brand, it's a great time to launch your brand. Having this trade show in March or April is a phenomenal time as you go right into the spring. However, if you've launched the brand prior to that, January, February, March are quite desolate. It's kind of like the Arctic tundra that you guys deal with up there. So really what we were trying to do is let's just get to April with a little bit of gas in the tank, and then we'll put a pedal to the floor, and hit the road full force in April, the trade show. So this week that's coming up is really a culmination of 8 months effort and really a lifetime worth of work for me and Martin and his family to bring this to fruition here. So we're really excited about what's going on. In the meantime, there's a few things that we ran into along the way that I was doing some work on, that we'll talk. But that's the Cliff Notes version of how Bentley Tobacco USA was born. And then we made a big announcement yesterday about my involvement and ownership in it. That happened in January, but we never did any type of official announcement. And we'd been on some shows and some media stuff with it, and we felt that we needed to make an announcement. Because really, I'll tell you why. I had a retailer that was doing some business with me, and they asked for some insane deal, and they're like, "Oh, you're a big company and this and that. You can do better than that." I'm sitting there, I'm like, so I said to him, I said, "Hey, man, I own this thing. And every cent that I give away takes money off of my family's table." So I'm trying to get this company started. And now we have a nice brand and we've done a lot of effort. We got a lot of work into it. But my bank account has like $2,000 into it going into this trade show because we're paying for our booth. We're paying for everything out there, paying for product. I got to sell stuff. And if you're asking for me to give you like 10 boxes for free, I ain't doing it. I kind of laughed. So I said to Martin, I said, you know what? I said to the guy, well, he replied to me. The guy says to me, he goes, well, I didn't realize you were an owner. And he goes, you guys are just a startup company? I'm like, well, we've been around for 115 years, but it's new here in the United States. And I go, it's my business. So I have licensing agreement with them. My partner in this is Martin, who's the owner of Bentley. But this business is going to take care of itself. And the guy's tune changed real quick. He's like, "Oh, no. Well, we want to support you. We didn't realize that. And it's the nature of the business, I guess. A big company trying to chisel down the big company. You have a big brand name like Bentley." So I said to Martin, I said, we need to make a very public announcement about kind of the origins of this and our involvement in this. You get a brand like Bentley and how we are going to build it. It's a luxury brand, but I joke around with people. I go, right now, we've been very successful to get started, and we hope to be continued success. Right now, I'm not driving around in a Bentley, so if you're looking for me to give you 90% off on deals because you think we're the biggest company in the world, that's not us. So we made a big announcement yesterday about my involvement, the promotion of our operations director, Mike Wilson, and I said to Martin, I think we just need to make people understand and let them know what my involvement truly is, and then that we are a small business that's getting started here in this market here in the U.S.
Yeah.
So how many shops are you in right now? Brody wants to know where you can get some
stateside.
Yeah,
we're in 87 retail stores. So out of those 87, most of them started because of interest towards the end of last year. So there's people that brought the product on. Because I was close with them. I have a good social media following. So a lot of it was just kind of natural. I didn't do a lot of solicitation. There's probably only 4 or 5 retailers that I solicited. I even had a waiting list towards the end of the year because I wanted to make sure that we had the right projections of products. I don't want to deal with back orders as we grow. That's the kiss of death for any type of brand. So 87 nationwide right now. You can go on us1.bentleytobacco.com. And we've got a retailer map there. We're going to open up the floodgates here at this trade show. So we'd like to expand about 300 in the next few weeks. So during and post show, We're about to triple in size, so that's the goal. And then once we do get back from this show, that's when we're going to hit the ground running and get out there, do events. Once you get revenue created, you can afford to go out and travel a lot more. So the things that kind of made me famous over the last 14, 15 years are the things we're going to start doing. If you noticed online, one of your sponsors, Corona, we have launch events going on with them in the next month.
Nice.
So yeah, we're really, it's really everything was just to get us to April. And get us to the PCA show. And we made it. I texted my wife the other day because it's been a stressful 8 months. And I said to her, I was like, hey, babe, we made it. And I was like, we made it to the trade show. Everything's going to start coming together now. But this is where the real work starts. So I will sit in a little bit at the show and soak it in a little, as we have a lot of attention, I believe, coming towards what we've got going on. But I am going to remember that the hardest work is yet to come.
Yeah. Well, starting with, we always love finding out about where cigars are made.
Yep.
And Hoya is obviously one of the best factories in the world.
I've heard of them before.
Yeah.
I've heard of them before.
And when you're talking about the expansion that you're looking to gain, from this PCA trade show coming up this week and beyond, as anybody who's ever started a small business or worked as a part of a small or a new business, rather, not a small business, but especially anything with consumable products, getting that growth is obviously key, but keeping up with the growth, like you said, not having to deal with back orders and stuff like that. So is that something that, because you have to have a lot of those gears meshed together before you even sign those new accounts. So have you guys been working behind the scenes to make sure that when those flood of new accounts get signed, there's product ready to ship and that kind of thing, so that consumers can get their hands on the product right away?
Yeah, I'm going to tell you, man, my entire career in the premium cigar industry, besides smoking Nicaraguan cigars, has been Dominican cigars. So I had to kind of transfer a lot of things over that I learned. And Nicaragua is a very different place when it comes to cigars. Like, one of the funny things was that people asked me, they're like, what's the what's the cigar? What's the cigar made of? I go, what's the Ecuador Habano wrapper, Nicaraguan binder and filler? And they're like, well, from where? I'm like, oh, it's from Hoya, Nicaragua. Is the factory? Like, no, like what part of the country is the tobacco from? And I'm like, why the F do you care? I spent, in the Dominican Republic, everything is, Ecuadorian Habano wrapper, Dominican binder and filler. Nobody tells you what region they're from in that area. And you're starting to see a little bit more of it. You'll see more of it at the Dominican because it is popular, but the majority of tobacco is grown in the Cibao Valley, which is a very similar area, just kind of stretching across, the northwestern part of the Dominican. In Nicaragua, it's kind of like Napa Valley, man. And I didn't realize this, which is funny because you figure that my knowledge and my experience in cigars is huge. It's like when you say, like, I know 99% more than 99% more than 99% of the people do about cigars, but then the people that know more than me know 99% more than I know. So, getting into Nicaraguan side, I'm like, man, what does it matter? I'm like, like Condega, Jalapa, and mountains, and there's areas of valleys, and there's different soils, and I'm like, wow, no wonder. I go, these cigars are so complex, and no wonder Nicaragua's grown so significantly in the last decade plus. Like, it's one of the more unique, breakdowns of different properties and elements and things in soil and different elevation changes. So I learned that first, and then we start talking to Hoya. And the unique thing about Hoya Nicaragua, one, they're phenomenal, man. They are so great to work with. Juan Martinez and his team over there are just some of the best. And Martin had always told me this. He's like, wait till you start really working with these people. And because I'd always known, I knew everybody, but we never did anything. Oh, hey, how's it going? Or saw you on social media. And Martin's family has like a 3-generation relationship with these people. So you got to think, we got Hoya Nicaragua's been around for almost 68 years, and they're the oldest and the original Nicaraguan cigar maker, right? Martin's family's been in the business for 115 years.
Wow.
So they've been buying tobacco from these people. They've been working with them. The Aroa family in Honduras, Martin's grandfather, I think he's passed away, but worked with the Aroa family, buying tobacco, because they've been a cigar manufacturer in Europe for 115 years. But Hoya is so great, and I won't get into all this, and some of it's internal workings, but man, they have we've had some discussions over the last month or so, and they're very much behind what we're doing here. They're very supportive of the brand. They think that this is something that could become very big in the cigar industry here in the U.S. And they're doing a lot of favors for us and providing us a ton of support to make sure that we don't run out of cigars. And I'm blown away by it. To be very honest with you, I was sweating bullets in like January. I'm like, how the hell am I going to do this thing? I mean, I'll figure it out. I'm not worried about that. But man, over the last few months, I expressed what our goals were and our plans were, what we were doing, and how we wanted to tell their story as part of our story. And man, they're the best. They're the best in the business. And in terms of the support they provide for people, they're supportive. Brands, they're supportive of the relationships they have. I can't speak anything more kind than what they've done. And they're going to really hopefully set us up to be able to not be backed up and really get this thing going and going fast.
Yeah, great people there, definitely.
So you hit a little bit on the blend of the green one that you're smoking right now, right?
Yeah.
What's the Connecticut and what's this black I hear out? Bentley black that I hear about.
So the Connecticut is Ecuador Connecticut shade. It's a fuller bodied Connecticut, which is I advise anybody smoking Bentley for the first time, I advise them to try the Connecticut first, even if they're a full bodied smoker. If they're a more traditional Nicaraguan cigar smoker, which we now we kind of identify as front palate spice. I encourage people to smoke the Connecticut first because it's a fuller bodied Connecticut, using filler tobaccos from Condega and Jalapa as well. They're similar blends. The wrapper's the biggest difference. The green is slightly fuller, but it's still a medium bodied cigar. But the Connecticut, when you go into the Connecticut, and the best example I use for this is the guys, and they love when I shout them out, but it's a great example of it, and it's why we're different as a Nicaraguan cigar as well, is the guys at Developing Palates smoked the green first, and then a few of them like eviscerated it because they're like, oh, we thought this would be fuller bodied. And I don't know why you go in with preconceived notions, but it's, you expect front palate spice, you expect, all that stuff going on with the that you're used to smoking in Nicaragua. And then they smoked the Connecticut like 3 months later, and it became their number 2 cigar of the year. And I was like, if you would have just smoked the Connecticut first, you would have understood what we were doing with the line and how Martin blended these cigars. They're made to be medium-bodied, well-aged tobaccos, mid-palate, and very complex. So I encourage everyone to smoke the Connecticut first, and you're experiencing it now. It tends to be a little fuller-bodied, and then it exceeds your expectations if you go in with an expectation of a Connecticut being a little bit milder. It's like, well, this is full-bodied. Then explains what we've done with the green. And then the goal with the black is to have something that is truly full bodied. And the Bentley Black will be out in 2026, but we do have a Bentley Black limited edition coming out that we'll be showing at the PCA show. That will be out later in the summer. And that was the result of our AI cigar project that we announced towards the end of last summer.
So what is this I'm getting on the Retro Hill? It's nice, but it's
on the Connecticut.
On the Connecticut, yeah, I like this a lot. But that Retro Hill, it's got a little bite to it, but I can't place what it is. I like it though.
Somebody told me, so I'm gonna tell you, I don't Retro Hill because it makes me sneeze. But I was smoking with someone last week, and they went like this. They take a big puff of it, and they Retro Hill, and they're like, "Man, that's the Jalapa." So allegedly to him, it's allegedly that what you're getting on that Retro Hill is the Jalapa tobacco from Jalapa, and then they said they were like tasting that, and they said, "Oh, this is Condega," and I was interesting. So on the Retro here, I've been told that that's where the flavor of the Jalapa comes in. They said I don't know what you're getting on the Retro Hill because I just can't Retro. It literally makes me sneeze. I've never been able to do it. If you ever see me Retro Hill,
it's by mistake. If you
see, yes, it's by mistake, and then I'll sneeze about 300 times in a row nonstop.
I like this Connecticut, bro.
Well, and even the Retro Hail and the green,
smooth.
And we've talked about it 1,000 times. I'm notorious for smoking really full-bodied. I mean, I smoke everything, but I don't get struck by what a lot of people say. Oh, these are really strong cigars. So, and even the retrohale on the green for me is smooth, sweet, a little bit of spice.
It is sweet too. I get that.
Yeah, sweetness. Yeah, I really like that.
Yeah,
it goes great with the spice and a little bit of earthiness too. So, I dig it.
Well, I'll tell you, this is not a negative thing, but really one of the big flavor profiles that in mouthfeel experiences that Nicaragua has been built upon is that front palate spice. Okay, and what front palate spice is a result of is less fermentation time. Now, when I ran a Dominican company, I used to say under fermentation. And I'd be like, well, not to insult them, but it's under fermented. That's not a bad thing. Now I say, less fermentation because that's truly what it is, and it's intentional. The longer you ferment the tobacco, the longer you let it rest, the smoother it will become, the less front palate spice you'll have on it. So when you smoke cigars that work if you break your palate down to 4 sections, if you're getting mid palate sensations and mid palate mouthfeel, that's truly from tobacco that's been aged for an extended period of time. And by extended doesn't mean it has to be 4, 5, 6 years or anything like that. But just beyond that initial probably 6 to 8 months to a year where spice is very prevalent. After you get rid of ammonia, the next flavor profile is spice. And that sensation's right there. And that's very popular in Nicaragua. And it's a great flavor profile too. But it is very intentional when it's in there. And a lot of Nicaraguan cigar factories have been known for that. And that's what differentiated itself very obviously from Dominican tobaccos, in other countries around the world. And these are made to be more medium bodied. So on a Connecticut, it tends to be fuller. And on the Habano, it tends to be a little milder than what people expect, which is medium bodied, coming from Nicaragua, which is great. Hoya makes a lot of full bodied cigars. But we do recognize that they have a full portfolio after we've launched this thing. The next step is something that's a little bit of a step up, and that will be the Bentley Black line. But just to give people a taste, we'll do the limited edition, which will use some heavily aged tobaccos and be very refined with the Bentley Black limited edition, which will be exciting to see that this week. Actually, I haven't seen it yet. I've seen packaging designs, but we designed those things in Germany. So I've seen packaging designs, but I haven't physically seen the packaging in person. So I'll see that on Thursday for the first time, which will be real exciting.
Nice. Real quick, I want to address Brody, one of our viewers, says sweet ? And I want to kind of address this just from the standpoint of smoking a lot of different kinds of cigars and tasting different things or smelling different things from different tobaccos. That sweet doesn't mean like these are not sweet cigars. They're not. They don't have a sweet cap. None of that. But there are some tobaccos that you get based on where they're grown and what kind of seed varietal it is and how long it's fermented and so many different factors that go into it. But yeah, there are some tobaccos that when you puff on the cigar, you do get notes on your palate and in your nose that remind you they're not like specifically and actually sweet. They just remind you of sweet things. Like it could remind you of cocoa or something like that.
Mm-hmm. It's really more of a mouthfeel. When sweetness and cream, when I like creaminess and sweetness, it's not like the taste of cream, it's not like the taste of sugar, but it's a mouthfeel. So imagine like you take it's like you take a drink of like cream or you take a drink of like whole milk or something. It's that sensation after. It's almost cleansing is what I describe to people. So when you get sweetness that's not artificial, you should, it's really a mouthfeel where it's, take a puff. And it's kind of refreshing and cleansing on the palate and clean. Sweetness comes across as a clean on the palate is a sign of sweetness.
Yeah, it doesn't fatigue your palate.
No.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What were you going to jump in with? You had something.
I was going to say cocoa chocolate.
Oh yeah. That's common for me. That especially on a retrohale, because it's interesting because even for those who do retrohale cigars. And I'm weird on this one, but like when you take a puff of a cigar into your mouth, like John was saying, like It's that mouth feel. It's like a texture thing for me. Like, so there are some bourbons that are watery texture, and the others that have like a viscous. Yeah, and with cigar smoke, like when you puff that cigar, you can feel like the texture or richness of that cigar smoke on some cigars, and on other cigars, it's kind of a wispy, light, airy smoke. But the same is true when if you're a retrohaler and you let that cigar smoke out of your nose, you can almost feel that texture, of rich
coats the palate.
Yeah, and you can feel that rich, thick smoke coming out of your nose, as opposed to like a light, wispy, airy smoke.
It's not sweet like candy, like sweet, more like think like baking spices.
Like you
cloves or nutmeg,
like you just walked into a bakery
with
or
like leather on the back end afterwards, like a new car almost on that back end.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Have you guys seen this?
No.
Is that John Deere or is that?
This is Florida Sun Grown. So this is a Corona ashtray, and it's pretty cool. The reason I'm bringing it up here, so check this out.
Oh, no way. Oh, the smoke comes out of the exhaust pipe. That's awesome. What a cool
it's
design.
kind of hard to see, but it's badass. Yeah. So I know you guys, Corona, real close with you guys, and they're right down the street from me. So
that's super cool.
By the way, it's a ridiculous deal. I think it's like $40 on their website right now. It's freaking badass.
Oh, I love it. I love that.
I was going to talk about his connection with Hooten Young.
Yeah.
Like
how
about
that came to fruition.
So, I'm very connected, and we're going to start publicly talking a little bit more about it in the next week or so after the PCA show. So, towards the end of last year, I was doing some consulting before we incorporated Bentley, and I was connected to the Hooten Young brand at a very young age, and I didn't even really know it at the time. So, the mission that kind of made Norm Hooten famous, what did make him famous, was the Operation Gothic Serpent, which was the mission that was portrayed in Black Hawk Down. And he played his character was played by Eric Bana in the movie. I just watched it again last night. I hadn't seen it in a few years. What a great movie! And if you haven't seen it, highly recommend watching it. But there was another character in there, Gordon. And his name was Master Sergeant Gary Gordon in real life. And Gary Gordon was from Lincoln, Maine, which is where I'm from. It's a town of like 2,200 people. And by design, nobody knew what Gary did in the Army until he died. And he died on that mission. Norm and him were very close. But he was a Delta Force operator, and he was a sniper. So he was the elite of the elite. And my dad was his high school teacher and football coach. So in 2018, when they launched the brand, they did an event here at Corona shortly after. And I said to my dad, I said, hey, this guy Norm Hooten's going to be at this place. And he launched a cigar and whiskey brand. I go, and it looks really cool. And he goes, I go, do you think I can go talk to him and mention Gary's name? And he's like, absolutely, you should. He goes, you'd probably be very honored that you knew him and to talk about him. So I introduced myself. He knew him very well. Norm was talking to someone at the time, and I introduced myself and mentioned his name. He says, give me like 30 seconds to end this conversation. He's like, I knew Gary very well. He was my brother. He was, and I'm going to come talk to you. And so we ended up out for a few hours, and I said to him, I'm a VP of a cigar brand in the US. I go, but if you guys ever need any help, don't hesitate to let me know. So over the years at the trade shows, we'd keep in touch. We'd say hi. And long story short, I leave LFD. I'm looking for things to do. And I run into his business partner, Tim Young, at the time. There's a new ownership group now. And Norm is the head of it. He's the president of the company. But I ran into Tim, and I said, Tim, I go, hey, how you been doing? I looks like you guys need some direction. I go, and strangely, I'm available right now if you're interested. So we talked over the next month or so, and finally they pulled the trigger and said, hey, let's work. We wanted, we like the ideas you have. This is a chance for us to kind of relaunch this brand. So long story short, again, it's like November, December, and it's kind of like radio silence. So internally, I'm watching some of this, and I'm like, they're paying me. I go, but I'm like, these guys need to reorder cigars. I go, they really need to launch. I go, this is going to be a rough couple months. So I was like, you know what, Bentley's starting to do pretty well. I think they got a lot of direct, the brand has a lot of legs, but I just don't know if what they're trying to do. Are they trying to sell it? Are they trying to continue on and make some changes? Well, it turned out they were actually in the process of selling it to one of the minority owners in the group. Um, and that gentleman bought out everybody, brought Norm back in full time. Norm had retired from the VA in January, and we had a corporate meeting at the beginning of January. I mean, these guys are dialed in. The ownership group is dialed in. So I'm sitting there and I give them my pitch on like what I would recommend doing with cigars. I go, I think this is a crazy time to be launching a whiskey brand and a crazy time to be launching a cigar brand. And they're like, why do you say that about the cigars? I said, because I'm launching one at the same exact time. And I go, and it's crazy. And they said, really? They're like, well, what would you do? And I said, I would do this, this, and this. And they said, go ahead. You're in charge of it. So I run the premium cigar division for Bout and Young. I've ordered hundreds of thousands of cigars in the last few months to re-up. We're going to be officially relaunching the Bout and Young whiskey and cigar brand the week after the PCA show. They'll be with me at PCA, and they'll have a presence at my Bentley booth. But we're relaunching the week after at the National Rifle Association show because we're the official cigar and whiskey brand of the National Rifle Association.
Nice.
So yeah, so there's a ton of exciting things coming along with them. We've got a cigar coming out called the RTBA, which is the Right to Bear Arms. That'll be launched at the NRA show. We've got a new project coming out with Jack Carr, the author of Terminal List and producer of the Terminal List on Amazon Prime. We got a cigar coming out with him before the beginning of the summer. So there's a lot of exciting things going on with them, and it was really just perfect timing. It was little did I know that when I needed something, that Norm and them would be there for me. When I had mentioned to them, hey, if you ever need anything, let me know. So everything was perfect timing. I'm launching at the same time they're launching, and I'm like, let's build this. I can help you build this brand, and I've got 17 years practically of premium cigar experience, 14 of it at an executive level, and I go, I can run this from cigar to seed for you, seed to cigar, and yeah, so we hit the ground running, man. It was wild. This started in January and February. It's the same thing, all led up to this 2-week period here in April. And so it's been a really busy beginning to the year. I mean, on top of it, I'm very actively involved in providing opinions on whiskey. What's next? And we're launching a brand new bourbon in June. So our bourbon's going to be coming out from Bardstown. Is our partner in that. So I'm like the ski and cigar business, and it's just a lot of good things happened at the right time, and a lot of growth is going on at the right time. And I've told people none of this was really planned, but when doors opened, I was able to walk through them and had the vision of what needed to happen and what was next. And I joke around. I was like, in 8 months from now, it looked like all of this was some perfectly laid out plan. And I'm like, man, that guy what a great idea he had. Yeah, I think that's how a lot of things work out. I'm experiencing that right now. So that's how I got tied with them, man. It couldn't be better. I'm excited to have more announcements coming with my involvement and our involvement together with that. And there's just a lot of exciting things going on for me and these brands, and it's a perfect fit with Bentley. Because we got whiskey anywhere we go, we got cigars anywhere we go, and the brands are really in different lanes, so they don't really interfere with each other. I call Bentley is like Davidoff to Bout and Young's like Camacho. Only that's just the closest comparison I can make, even though they're very different.
Yeah.
So I've been a fan of Bout and Young since day one. I brought them in the shop that I was running for a little bit. I love their shit. Yeah, I love the brand. I've tried for 6 months to get somebody from Bout and Young on the show, and we never happened. But maybe now that we know somebody. So who's making that?
We can get you set up. I mean, technically, you have somebody from Bout and Young on the show right now.
Yeah, I was like, he's sitting. I was like, Raul, he's sitting right there.
Yeah.
But no, we'd love to have Norm on. He'd definitely love to come on and do the show. He'd absolutely love it. We can definitely get that set up. But the American whiskeys we have come out of MGP up in Indiana, which is the people who produce Angel's Envy.
World famous now. Yeah.
Yeah. So we have a 16-year. We've got a 15-year. The 16-year is called Warrior Proof with Jack Carr. The 15-year we have a 95 proof, and then we have a barrel proof. It's 125 as well. We've got the 12-year, which is 95 proof. But right now, when the new ownership group, this is an awfully big secret, but they ran out of 12-year whiskey in January. Okay. And it's the number one seller, so you can't go out of your number one seller for too long, especially if it's it's the workhorse. And we're starting to sell much more of the other products now, but the 12-year, to ease the issue with the 12-year, we had a ton of 17-year. So the 12-year right now is 17-year-old juice. So if you're watching this and you want the deal of a lifetime, this is about half price of what you'd pay for a 17-year-old American whiskey. So this is around $70. It's 17-year-old juice right now, and it will be 17-year-old juice for about the next year while we wait for the whiskey that we bought at 8 years, 3 years ago to become 12 years old. So this is the best deal in all of freaking whiskey right now is the Hooten Young 12. And then we have an 8-year, we have a 6-year rye, and then we have a wine cask finish. All of the American whiskeys come from MGP.
That's the other one. I remember I told you I had 2 bottles at home.
Yeah.
One is a 12-year, and the other one is the 6-year. The Cabernet cask finish.
Yeah, the cab casks are great, man. I've been drinking old fashions with them. Really great whiskey and real different flavor profile. So it's been fun, man. As you see, you'll start to see a lot of the Bentley events I do. We'll have Hooten Young whiskey at them, and as we launch Hooten Young cigars again, we'll obviously have those two paired up. So it's it's a really great addition to what I've been doing, and I love having it. And they're great people, man. I really fortunate to be surrounded by some great people, and they're crazy, man. They're all like special forces type guys. They're all military veterans. I'm like, how the hell did I end up in this group? And they are not short on stamina, man. There's one speed, and it's full speed ahead.
Yeah.
So, are you able to buy the whiskey on their site still?
Yeah, you can buy the whiskey right on the website, hootenyoung.com. They have it on there.
Nice.
So you can jump on it. I'm telling you, man, get some 12-year because it's 17-year-old juice, and you'll never see it again at that price. Because once we get the 12-year back in, once it's aged to 12 years, it'll be going away, and we will be releasing a 17 or 18-year. At that time, we'll probably have a 19-year from it. But in the meantime, the 12 years the best bang for the buck in the history of probably the whiskey business because it's 17-year-old juice. It's like drinking Macallan 18 instead of Macallan 12.
Yeah.
But drinking at the 12 price point, it's crazy.
I'm very happy that you're involved with Hooten Young. I'm very happy.
Yeah.
Thank you. I am as well, too. And I said it couldn't be a better pairing with Bentley. The timing made sense too. It's not a coincidence that we're launching at PCA and they're going to be there with us, but then they're launching the next week at NRA. And then our goal is, if this goes as smoothly as we think it will, we'd like to have a big presence together at the PCA show in 2026, where we have our own pavilion, where it has both brands underneath that umbrella and really really make an impact in the industry. And I think we can. I think both brands have a lot of legs. The story with Norm, and then Bentley with the history behind it, and then the recognition of the brand itself.
So a good viewer question a few minutes ago from Allison, and I think specifically on the Bentley side of things, do you see yourself as time goes on eventually getting involved in like design and blends and blending, that kind of thing?
I am already 100% involved.
Okay, right on.
Yeah, and I'll be honest. This is I like to be honest. And Allison did some work with them in the past, and she did a great job with them. I'm more involved with the blending and designing of Hooten Young products right now than I am with Bentley, which is interesting because I'm the CEO of Bentley, right? But I have a fourth generation tobacco cigar maker in my pocket at Bentley. You know what I mean? So like, what am I going to do? Tell him what his palate's like? And I agree with him on stuff. So we work together. But it'd be like, my great grandfather did this. Who are you? Tall white guy from America to tell me what it is. And he's not like that, but there's a very distinct way that we do the things with Bentley. And at Bentley, the first project I've been involved in is the Bentley Black. So I'm involved in that. But we also have a design team over there that's been developing the brand for the last 20 years. And so at Hoot & Young, great question. I'm very, very much involved in it. I'm working with all the factory partnerships that we have. I'm inspecting and testing all the blends. We're reworking a few of the blends, changing factories around, changing distribution, and really just aligning it to be in a place where it's operating like a real company. So I'm heavily involved in it.
Nice.
Like tomorrow morning I'm presenting like 4 different new concepts and 2 different rebrands, and it's a lot. Yep.
So who is blending Hoot & Young for you? Or what
So
factory are you going to go to?
We have 3 factories. Okay, so we have 3 factories that we work with. Currently, we work with Esteban Carreras. We work with Cordoba and Morales, which is based here in Orlando. The guy's name is Azarius Mustafa. He's a great guy, Cuban guy. Smaller factories, but those 2 places buy from like AJ Fernandez. They work closely with them. They're just some smaller factories. I'm doing some work with Aganorsa as well, where they're kind of working behind the scenes right now to develop some different blends for us and kind of reverse engineer some of the blends that we have had in the event that we need additional support. And then we work in the Dominican Republic with Ladio Diaz. So there's a bunch of different areas. And, and I have some plans with some other factories and some other concepts in some different countries as well. So I'm really, the Hoot & Young projects are really like an international smorgasbord of different concepts and different blends. And it's really like a buffet, which is kind of cool. So I'm going to be working with like 5 factories after the trade show with different blends. So we're really putting together some unique things. And the reason you can do that with a brand like Hoot & Young is every cigar stands on its own. So there's one line's the Operation Gothic Serpent. It's one size, one brand. Then you have the Madus, which is the one that comes in the ammo can.
Oh, that's this guy right here.
Yeah. So the Madus, it's one size, one brand. So you're not building. You're building stories, and you're not building different sizes of that line. So with Bentley, Bentley Green is 5 or 6 different SKUs. So we're really building lines of cigars. So the white, the green, the black. Where at Hoot & Young, you're building individual cigars that tell certain stories. So it's very different concepts, and it allows for a lot more creativity. Like, if I had the green line coming out of 5 different factories, people would be like, why is the Robusto and the Corona so different? Well, this one's made in Indiana and the other one's made in Hawaii, and then then the 60 ring gauge comes from Japan. It would be, be very different. And that's why I say the 2 lines are so different in the concepts behind them. So I get to have a ton of fun with the Hoot & Young stuff. I mean, every cigar is its own thing. Every cigar has its own story, and it's the same thing with the factories that it works with.
Yeah,
this Serpent is phenomenal.
Yeah,
it's a very good cigar.
We're big fans of that one, definitely.
And tell us a little bit about this.
Yeah, so there's the 25th anniversary, and then there's the 30th.
So the 25th anniversary came out. That was the original cigar. That was the name of the operation that was in Mogadishu, portrayed in Black Hawk Down. And the original 25th comes out of Nicaragua. And then the 30th, which commemorates the 30th anniversary of that mission, which was last year. A year and a half ago now, 2023. That comes from Eladio Diaz. So we do have a little bit more coming from him. The whole Gothic Serpent line is going to become Dominican in the future. So both of those will be out of the Dominican Republic. And then we also have an announcement coming in the next 3 to 4 weeks of the Jack Carr edition cigar, which works with the whiskey here. that's coming out of Eladio's factory as well. So we'll have 3 Dominican offerings and 6 Nicaraguan offerings, and we're looking to expand to Honduras and potentially Costa Rica.
Nice.
So,
I'm excited about that.
Of all the different hats, that, and you've worn all of them, and you wear a lot of them simultaneously sometimes. So hats for, business strategy, sales strategy, and then the hat for like public facing events for cigars and or whiskey, and then hats for blending and packaging design and band design and all that stuff. But and probably a number of hats that I'm forgetting about right now. But what is your favorite hat to wear when it comes to being a part of this business?
Man, it's a great question. It's tough. I think the hat that I'm enjoying the most now is that at the end of the day, I'm running these companies, but my company I own. So I think the hat that I'm enjoying the most right now is being an owner, and that gives me a lot of freedom in my decision making. It gives more credence to when I make a decision on behalf of somebody else's company. And I'm really enjoying that level of it where all the effort and things that I've put in for the last decade and a half plus are being really recognized and appreciated. So that's the one I'm enjoying the most. And then, all of those other things fall underneath that. But the freedom of being able to make decisions like that is real nice. This is a special industry, and I was having a meeting with one of the operating partners at Hoot and Young the other day, and he was like, we're breaking down cost analysis and different things, and he's like, where do we have like contracts for these stuff? And I was like, contracts? He's like, yeah, like for pricing and this and that. And I said, nah. I go, the cigar business is like a handshake business. I go, they tell you the price, you like it. If you don't like it, you tell them what price you like, and then you kind of meet in the middle, and then that's what you get the price for the cigars at. And he's like, really? And I go, yeah. I go, besides like the real big companies, I go, there's not, there's not like contracts in these things. I go, this is still a handshake business and a business of honor. And it's fun to see people that come from different businesses to see this side of the business and see this business. It's unique like that, and they're all like, man, like I want to be more involved in that. Like, so the guys on the whiskey side, we always joke around because the whiskey side's like, the margins are so, you got to dial things in. I mean, they always say you got to have big pockets to be in the liquor business. It's not just to get things started, because you could take a little bit of money and make liquor and try to distribute it, but to expand it, you got to be able to, because these distributors make all the money. They control pretty much the distribution of stuff. It's very grassroots on the ground getting started, and it's stressful because you're constantly looking at things, and then the distributors want more to do less, or less to do more. And we joke around in some of the Hoot and Young meetings where the main ownership group deals with the whiskey because there's a lot of money involved in that, and they're always like, we'll talk about the cigar stuff, and it's like, you guys are doing pretty well over there, and it's only been 2 months. They're like, we want to come over and play with cigars, and I'm like, no. I'm like, please just let us handle it. We've got it.
So long-term vision, obviously we talked about the upcoming trade show and kind of the rest of 2025, but we know everybody, regardless of what business they're in, they have their short-term plans and visions, and they have their long-term plans and visions. So what's, for you and the whole group at Bentley and Hoot and Young, what are long-term visions, like 5-10 years for you guys?
So we would like to, Bentley and Hoot and Young's vision very much align in just different areas, in different segments of the market. Really what we're doing with Bentley, and I've alluded to it, I'm not trying to compete with Davidoff by any means, but we view Bentley as a luxury brand. It is a luxury brand. The name recognition alone, even though we're not the automaker, it's a very recognizable brand name. So we really envision this as a special luxury brand at a luxury price, but not extreme luxury. We're sub $20 and everything. We're $13, $14, $15, $16, and our limited edition item is going to be pricier, but our regular lines are going to stay in those price ranges that we're at. Even special luxury brand in that market. We want to be a premier brand in the retailers that we're in, and have it be something that people grab and have a lot of pride in, and be that luxury element in a large amount of retail outlets. We want to be quality over quantity, most certainly. And we're not looking to be in 5,000 retail outlets, but we're looking to be in the best. And we think we have a brand that we can do that with and be very fair to our retail partners. And at Hoot & Young is a similar fashion, but at Hoot & Young, we want to have that in front of everybody. We want it to be in as many places as possible, not at the expense of severe discounting or endless promotions. We want to keep value with that product, but in the reality, that Hoot & Young product is something that needs to be in front of a very large crowd. So if there's a place that's interested or spot that sells premium cigars and is the right environment, that's an environment Hoot & Young wants to be in. So we can do those at the same time. There's companies that do that with their brands already. The unique thing with this is underneath my umbrella, I own Bentley. There's another company that owns Hoot & Young, and we have a third brand that we work with too. We work with M. Bombay as well, which we'll get into later on. Not later on tonight, but we'll get into that later in the future. Those brands all have a place, and there's companies that do it. The unique nature is we just don't own them all. We have partnerships and relationships based off of the business side of it, and we operate together. So that's really the vision for it. Hoot & Young, we want it to be a household name. We want it to be in as many places as possible, and we want Bentley to be the luxury version, a luxury version of that, where it's quality over quantity. Is the main goal.
Nice.
Well,
so do you guys think it's time?
Yeah, it's time.
It's time.
All right, guys.
It's time.
It is now time for this week's Numero de los Muertos. All right. The number this week is so we have these stats from the year 2023. And this is United States, and approximately 1,100 people died from this activity in the year 2023. That's the year that we have accurate stats for.
In the U.S.
What's the number again?
In the United States. Approximately 1,100, just shy of 1,100
from an activity.
Yes.
Was this all at the same time, or
throughout the year?
Okay.
Yeah. Well, it wasn't one event. It was during the calendar year 2023. So, yep. As always,
military training.
You guys, not military training. You guys, John, and our viewers, play 20 questions. Break it all down. Figure it out. Orangutan wrestling? No, David, it's not orangutan wrestling.
1,100 people died from a car unwilling to get off of its owner.
Jay Davis, that is a fantastic answer, but it's not right. But it's a great answer.
Is it a sickness or a virus?
Not a sickness or virus. Great question.
Andrew with autoerotic asphyxiation.
No. I said, is it a physical activity?
It is a physical activity.
Is it go along with the theme there? Is it a physical activity that one does on their own in the bedroom?
No.
Okay.
1,100
people.
Basket plastic grass.
Oh, Allison, I would love to spend like 5 minutes in your brain. It's not choking on Easter basket plastic grass. No.
Is it instant? Does it provide instant death?
It varies.
Okay.
Are vehicles involved?
Vehicles can be involved, but not always.
Rock climbing?
It is not rock climbing.
Not an orgy that went wrong?
It is not an orgy that went wrong. Okay. No.
Cars can be involved, but not always.
Vehicles can be involved, but not always. David Floyd, it is not trying to smoke the Easter basket plastic grass. I highly recommend not trying to smoke that particular kind of grass.
Die while playing pickleball.
It is not pickleball.
Does it have anything to do with first responders?
No.
Besides just picking up the bodies after they're done?
No.
Right.
Yes, Coop, it's in the U.S.
Yes, Coop, it is in the U.S.
What about reading a cigar review providing weird tasting notes?
Oh, Jay Davis, another fantastic guess.
Jay's on fire right now.
But not correct.
Death by Peeps.
Not Death by Peeps. That is a great.
Smashing mailboxes.
Nope, not smashing mailboxes.
Not a disease,
All right.
right?
Nope, not a disease.
I'm going to say moving, like moving into a house, like moving.
No, it is not moving. It's a really good guess, but it's not that.
Activity. It's like a sport.
It's not a sport.
Eating in a vehicle. Eating while driving.
It's not eating. Not related to food.
Read this for my mom, please.
No idea.
That feels like a strangely random YouTube comment. The username is just the letter F, and it said, "Read this for my mom, please." I have no idea what that means, but I'm here for it.
Israel war?
It is not the Israel war.
Working on your vehicle.
It's in the United States.
It's not working on your vehicle.
Trying to fly from a cannon.
No.
Going to vote?
No, it's not going to vote.
Open casket or closed casket when viewing the dead.
I'd say it could be either. It really could be either. BJ, while driving, I love you people, and yet I'm concerned.
What about death by rage room?
Rage room.
Rage room is a room where you get to go in there and break every fucking thing in it, destroy it.
It is not death by rage room.
It can't hold me though. Those rage rooms got shit on me.
Alcohol related.
I don't think alcohol is. I don't think it's related. No.
Is it stupid ass YouTubers killing themselves?
No. There's a key question that normally gets asked early that hasn't been asked yet.
Is it a workplace accident?
It is workplace related.
I thought you were going to say
parking at work.
Not parking.
Going to work.
Being hit in a crosswalk. No.
Does the year matter? What year?
I mean,
it doesn't involve food.
The only reason I said the year 2023 is because that's the only year that I could find genuinely accurate statistics for. So
bar hatchet throwing.
Not bar hatchet throwing.
Brushing your teeth with laxatives after eating a ham sandwich on the toilet. Very interesting.
Jay is on fire.
Okay.
No, it is not that.
Death by Mormon missionary.
No, that's not. Well, it could be work. This is a work. These are workplace related.
Drug related. No.
Not no.
So workplace. What kind of workplace?
That's what we're looking for. Is a specific. Yes.
Construction accident.
Justy Smoke nails it. So these are construction site accidents.
Oh.
So in 2023, the construction industry experienced nearly 1,100 fatalities, making it the industry with the highest number of workplace deaths, according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics. The leading cause was falls and or trips. That accounted for nearly 40% of all construction fatalities in 2023. Other significant causes were transportation, like forklifts and cranes, that kind of thing. This stat really, I thought was interesting. The fatal work injury rate in construction was 9.6 deaths per 100,000 full-time equivalent workers. And the where is it here? Construction, had the most fatalities among all industry sectors in 2023. Falls, being struck by an object, electrocution, and stuck in between objects, like, you know, if a crane is moving a wall and you get stuck between them, those were without a doubt the most common related causes to construction site deaths in 2023. And the numbers were Let me see. I thought I saw a number about increases. Yeah, so those numbers went up between 2016 and 2023. The numbers went up 38% for construction site related deaths, that's a huge jump in that short amount. In what, 7 years?
Yeah,
that's a huge jump in 7 years. So that was this week's Numero de los Muertos. All right, it is time to reveal this week's Spirit of Mystery, brought to us by Postania Cigars. As you can see, I have like barely a sip left in my glass. I have to say I did enjoy this Spirit of Mystery, but I'm a little confused by it because there are some spirits. There are quite a few spirits on the market that have added sweeteners. Now, I don't think this particular spirit has added sweeteners. It has such a defined natural sweetness to it that is almost like anti-rye. Rye tends to be, have a little spice to it, a little zing to it. And this does have that but it's on the finish. It's got that little bit of spice. My best guess would be, because again, I'm more of a bourbon guy than a rye guy, but my best guess would be that this might be some iteration of a High West product, but that's the only guess I can give.
Well, it's just kind of a setup, a little bit of a setup.
Oh, okay.
I'm going down to this place where this is brewed.
Oh, so this was local to some place you visited.
When I went down to Texas last year,
okay,
I picked this up, and I wasn't sure if I'd get a whole bottle.
Okay,
so I got a couple of these little ones.
Still Austin straight rye whiskey.
It's totally made in Texas. The grain and everything is from Texas.
There's no way this is okay. 99.6 proof, so just shy of 100 proof, which I didn't think it was high proof. All right, this lively whiskey made from 100% Texas grown rye grains represents Still Austin's affection for the artist, that mischievous, fearless soul, aged at least 2 years. And I'll put the bottle up to the camera here. Get a little. Oh, come on! It doesn't want to.
Come on, baby.
There we go. Yeah. So honestly, this was pretty good.
There was a few different bottles. So when I go down next week, I'll bring a couple bottles.
Nice. I appreciate that.
Allison says they're from Austin, Texas, 10 minutes from her house.
Oh, sweet. Well, I can definitely recommend this rye. It's called The Artist. And it's it's nice. So highly recommended by me. I really enjoyed it. So that was this week's Spirit of Mystery. Now let's jump into the lightning round. So John, you've been on the show a number of times. You've had a lot of the classic old school lightning round questions, but we have some fresh ones here. I can't remember if we ever did the fast food question with Carney, but I'd say let's just go for it, even if we've done it before.
I don't think we have.
Yeah, let's do that.
So, what is the most overrated and underrated fast food franchise out there?
Overrated and underrated?
And underrated, yep.
Overrated is In-N-Out Burger.
That is the number one answer.
And it's not because of their burgers. It's because of their French fries. They don't double fry them. If you don't eat them fresh out of the fryer, they're not good.
Yeah.
In-N-Out's the most overrated. And then underrated?
Yeah.
Debatable if it's fast food, but I think it is. Culver's is the most underrated.
Okay.
Oh yeah, Culver's is fast. Culver, they have a drive-through, so that counts as fast food.
Yeah. Yeah. It's quick.
Culver's,
it's quick.
Culver's is outstanding. We that's our family favorite. My kids.
It's great.
If there's a night where we're like nobody wants to cook, the kids are like, let's go to Culver's. Everybody loves it.
Yeah,
in our house.
I'm a fan of it too, especially their ice cream or frozen yogurt, whatever the hell they call it.
Oh yeah, the frozen custard. Frozen. Yes. That's what they. Yeah.
Yeah.
We did the zombie question, didn't we, Justin? Yeah, we did. Okay.
Hey, ask him about if he was a talk show host.
Oh yeah. All right. So if you suddenly were given the hosting duties on your own late night talk show, who would you want for your first guest to be?
And there's two parts to it. First, the person that's alive and someone that is deceased.
Yeah.
First guest alive. I think right now I'd be, if I just got my first show, I want to come in real hot, right? As big as I possibly can. So I'm going to go with Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson for current guest.
Nice.
I think that would be fun, and I think that would give me a lot of recognition.
Oh yeah.
So I'm going with DJ on that one. Deceased. Oof. Deceased ones are tough because you always want to it'd be great to I'd probably bring my grandfather, like my dad's father. I'd have him be a guest so I could talk to him because I never got to meet him. So I'd probably bring a personal guest on the show. So that would be like given the opportunity to bring back someone deceased, whether it's on the show or wherever it is. I think that would be the one I would go for. Nice. If it was a celebrity or like a person who's famous, man. That's really difficult. It'd have to be somebody who was present, like George Washington or Abraham Lincoln or something like that, just to ask them some crazy questions. Be like, what the hell do you think about all this shit that's going on right now? You know what? This is not to be political. This is funny. It was always a joke. A good buddy of mine, he's in the cigar business. And I remember when Donald Trump won the first time around in 2016, he's like, man, he was talking, we were having a cigar. He's like, my dad wouldn't believe this shit that's going on right now. I'm like, what do you mean? He goes, if I could just tell my dad, he goes, he wouldn't believe this. And it kind of reminded me of like Back to the Future when Michael J. Fox says that Ronald Reagan's the president. Yeah. And Doc Brown's like, whatever. You know you're lying. You're crazy. But he goes, my dad would never believe it. If he goes, Donald Trump's the president. He goes, and Bruce Jenner is a woman. And it was just one of those things. And it'd be interesting to bring somebody back at that time to have them react to things that are going on positively or negatively, and it really give some perspective on stuff. So yeah, historical figures are some of the best to bring back in anything like that, just to get their perspective on what the hell's going on. And by the way, is this what you planned? Is this how you envisioned it?
Probably not. All right, this one I don't think I've asked you before. So when you were a teenager, who was your biggest celebrity crush?
Man. Male or female?
Hey, you do you, bro.
Yeah, we don't judge here.
Yeah.
Jennifer Love Hewitt was my major celebrity crush.
Okay.
And that's a question that I have a standing answer on a few questions with my sister. Like we were ever on one of those family game shows of who like your celebrity crush and whatever. It changed over the years, but our standard answer for this question was who your celebrity crush was always going to be Jennifer Love Hewitt was my answer. So to let her know if she's watching, I was just asked that question and I answered it as I said I was going to answer it. So now she knows that if we're ever sitting there and they're like, for $1 million, who was your brother's celebrity crush? She now knows that I have successfully answered that question.
So now who is your man crush?
Man crush. Oof. I loved MC Hammer was a man crush for a period of time. Yeah, Hammer. Yeah, he was huge for me. I really liked Deion Sanders. Deion Sanders was my favorite athlete
Yeah.
Huge Dion fan. MC Hammer and Dion probably the ones that were the most that popped in my head the quickest.
Nice. I like that. All right, let's do notable smokables. So, John, you remember each week on the show, we all name a cigar that we smoked recently that was notable to us. Now, this could be a cigar that's been on the market for decades that we smoked for the first time in a very long time, or a cigar that's brand new to the market that we smoked for the first time ever. Obviously, you're smoking a lot of Bentley and Hooten and Young stuff, but if you get a chance to jump outside your own portfolio, what's something you smoked recently that that really stood out to you?
Dude, you guys ask great questions. Notable smokables. What did I have recently I really enjoyed? You know what I had? And I'm not just saying this because they're an advertiser. I smoked that Pestana San Andreas, and I thought it was excellent. I had that last week, and that's something that I've smoked a lot of cigars. I think not as much variety because I've been smoking through different blends and smoking mostly the brands we're developing. But that one stood out to me, and I did really enjoy it. And they're great people. And I did when I smoked that, I was like, this is a really good cigar. And I smoked it on my own, so it wasn't forced upon me by any means. So I'll say that the Pestana San Andreas was excellent.
Nice. Raleigh, what's notable this week for you?
It's got to be the H99 I smoked on my mom's funeral.
Yeah. Yeah. Those reflection cigars, when something like that happens, there's some about them that sticks in your head.
Yeah. Definitely
true. Justy, what about you?
I think there was a nice day last week when I sat on the porch and smoked a cigar and sunny out and not cold. I think it's a Cigar Dojo exclusive, the Camacho Imperial Stout barrel aged.
Oh yeah. So, yeah. They use the that 1050 barrel aged stout, and they age some of the filler leaves, I believe, for a little while in those barrels for that Camacho. So yeah, that one's definitely a bold choice. Mine was also had a little barrel age feel to it. Mine was the Diesel Whiskey Row. I hadn't smoked one in a while. That cigar came out on the market a few years ago. I hadn't smoked one in quite a while, and it's nice. It has lost in a couple of years. Some it never had like super strong whiskey notes in the blend, but it had some, and it's lost a little bit of it in the last 3 or 4 years since I've had it in my humidor. But it's still, you could tell that some of the leaves were barrel aged.
You know what I like about that? They came out with a barrel with an ashtray on top.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Absolutely. All right, let's do some coming attractions. This is stuff coming up the next few weeks on How About That Cigar Live. So next week is April 14th, and we will not have a show on April 14th because that is my wife's birthday, and that is the most important day of the year. So no show on April 14th. Following up that on April 21st, we are going to hear about the good, the bad, and the ugly of the PCA trade show from Fred Rui from Cigar Press and Eric Gatormson and Robbie Raz from Cigar Dojo. They're going to be our guests on the show talking about all the cool stuff from the 2025 PCA trade show. And then finishing out the month of April, none other than Miguel Shodell from Crowned Heads coming back on the show. So, John, thank you again so much, brother. Where is the best place for our viewers to keep up with everything you guys have going on?
Facebook's the best for me. If you want to follow along what I'm doing, every day there's something new. I was reading some of the comment section and I kept pulling up, doing magic tricks, pulling things onto the screen. Every day on my social media, there's something new going on. So social media at Bentley Cigars, Bentley Tobacco, and then Jonathan M. Carney on Facebook's a great way to follow. And you can check us out on hootyoung.com. As well as us1.bentleytobacco.com. But if you want the main event in the front row seat, follow me on Facebook.
Fantastic. Well, brother, always a pleasure talking to you. Thanks so much for being our guest again on the show this evening.
No, thank you all. It's always a pleasure. And man, I'm racking my brain from that question about notable cigars that I've smoked. And I won't get into it because the show's over, but as I've been thinking about it, there's been more cigars that I've smoked recently that I haven't liked than the ones that have stood out for good reasons. So, so we'll leave it at that. You can guess what they might be.
No, not negative here. We don't do nothing.
Oh yeah, no negative.
Yeah. Burn cigars, not bridges.
Yeah, that's exactly it. All right, so we want to say thank you, as always, to our viewers and listeners for being the absolute best part of How About That Cigar Live. So grateful to you guys joining us live on Facebook, live on YouTube, and live on
Rumble.
And for our fantastic audio podcast listeners, thanks so much for listening to us when you drive down the road, when you work out, whatever it is you do, when you listen to audio podcasts. Thanks for making us a part of it. And of course, all those big, beautiful buttons across all the platforms. Click on the like button, the follow button, and the subscribe button so you don't miss anything that we have going on. If you have questions for any of us, you can email us on our website, howaboutthatcigar.com. Be sure to follow us on all your favorite social media platforms. You will find us at HBT Cigar. And of course, until we see you guys next time, burn cigars,
not bridges.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, guys.
Any comments, opinions, viewpoints, or statements presented or uttered by guests on the HBTC podcast, HBTC live video streams, and all other media from HBT Media LLC are solely those of the individual and do not necessarily represent the opinions or viewpoints of How About That Cigar or its parent company, HBT Media LLC, any of our advertising partners, or the premium cigar industry. The primary purpose of How About That Cigar is to entertain and to encourage activity and growth within the community of people who enjoy or want to learn about the enjoyment of premium cigars.